In this video, we'll go over the solutions to the final exam practice questions. The first question asks you to solve the following equations. Now, this is the absolute value equation, so we know that it should have two cases. The first case is when your left-hand side is equal to 4, and the second case is when your left-hand side is equal to minus 4. So one case for the minus, one case for the plus, right? And the reason that I multiply by 7 on both sides of these two equations, because I see that the denominator here has a 7. So by multiplying by 7, I can take away the number 7. So the first thing you set each side equal to 4 and minus 4, and then I multiply 7 to the whole equation on both sides. Let's solve for each of these equations. So when I multiply 7 inside here, make the distribution of 7, then the first term I have 4x because 7 and 7 they cancel. 7 times 8 give me 56. 7 times 4 give me 28, and so on. And then I go ahead and I subtract 56 on both sides, so that the left hand side now has only 4x, and 28 minus 56 give me minus 28. And then to solve for x, I must divide both sides by 4, right, to get minus 7. And then the same thing here, I multiply 7 to here, I have 4x. 7 times 8, 56. 7 times minus 4, minus 28. And then subtract 56 on both sides, and then divide by 4. Okay, so these are the two solutions to this absolute value equation. The second equation, we are solving this radical of 3 equal to minus 1. Now, we want to solve for x. That means you are trying to take away the radical. This is the radical, the index of 3. So in order to take away the radical, we need to take the power of 3 so that it can take away the radical. Now, when I take the power on one side, make sure I do the same thing to the right hand side. So take the power of 3 on both sides. Radical of 3 and index of 3, they cancel out. You have the term underneath the radical, 15 minus 4x. Minus 1 to the power of 3, minus 1 times minus 1 times minus 1 give me minus 1. Then to solve for x, subtract 15 on both sides. And then to solve for x again, you are dividing minus 4 on both sides. So that is the final answer for x. Okay, next question. This is the log equation. So anytime you are solving the log equation, we must combine the log together before we can solve them. And notice here, the log has the same base 3. And this is the addition, so using the log property, I can combine these two terms, x and x minus 26, into the product, the multiplication, because of the addition right here. So now I combine them, right? I combine them, and then I use the log, the definition of the log, 3 to the power of 3 equal to this whole thing. 3 to the power of 3 equal to this argument here. And from here, you can solve for x. 3 to the third power 27, x times x minus 26 right here. And then make the distribution x times x, x squared, x times minus 26 minus 26x. And then from here, I must subtract 27 on both sides, so that I make the right hand side to be 0. And why do I do that? Because I need to factor this trinomial into the sum, the product of two binomial. And I chose minus 27 and 1 because minus 27 times 1 give me minus 27. Minus 27 plus 1 give me minus 26. Make sure the coefficient here is 1. And then we have two cases. One is this one equals 0 and the other term is equal to 0. And then I add 27 on both sides to solve for x. Subtract 1 on both sides to solve for x. Now, when you solve the equation that has the log, make sure to check your answer, because you see that this is the log function. The domain of the log function is always bigger than 0, right? And you get x to be minus 1. This is not true for the domain of the log function here. Therefore, this cannot be the solutions. Or, if you can plug in directly minus 1 to this function right here, you can see that it doesn't make sense to have a minus for the domain, the same thing here. So this one is not the solution. Only number 27 is the real solution to this log equation. Okay, let's move on to the next equation. This one, we are solving the exponential equation, right? And then to solve for the exponential equation, first thing is you need to check to see if you can make the two bases to be the same base. 6 and 4, there's no way I can make them to have the same basis. So I know that I have to take the ln on both sides. Take ln on the left hand side, ln on the right hand side. The reason I took ln because I can bring the exponent, bring it to the front here. Okay, and then to solve for x, I divide both sides by ln 6. I divide by ln 6 on both sides, give me this one. And then I subtract 5 on both sides, give me minus 2x equal that. And then to solve for x, I divide both sides by minus 2 to isolate the x on the left hand side. So divide by minus 2. And if I plug in the calculator to give me the decimal value, it should be 2.113. The next one, solving this rational equation. Now the best way to solve for any rational equation is by finding the LCD. Okay, so we focus at the bottom here, x plus 3, 7x, 7. The LCD should be 7x multiplied by x plus 3. So this is the LCD for this rational equation. And then from here, you can solve the equation by multiplying the LCD to the whole equation and then make the distribution. Let's see here. 7 times 9 give me 63. X plus 3, when you multiply it here, they cancel out, so you have x left. 7x, when you multiply to the second term, 7x and 7x they cancel, so you have x plus 4 multiplied by x plus 3. And then the last one, 7 and 7 they cancel, you have x and x plus 3. And then now let's multiply 4 of these twos, you get that expression here. And then x times x squared, x times 3, 3x. And now you can x squared, you can subtract x squared on both sides. You have this equation, the new one. And now combine the like term, 63x plus 7x minus 3x give me 67x, and then plus 12 equals 0. To solve for x, subtract 12 on both sides, and then divide by 67 on both sides. And make sure check the answer with the original equation, which is okay in this case. anytime you are solving the rational equation, you have to check the answer, because you don't want to end up with dividing by a 0 for the rational equation, because dividing by 0 is undefined. Okay, so always check the answer with the rational equation. And the last one, I think the last one for this first, no, not the last one, one more. But this one, to solve the quadratic, first thing is you can use the quadratic formula, but the first thing is you have to move everything to the left hand side, so making the right hand side to be 0, right? Add 4x minus 3, and then identify what is a, what is b, what is c. A is the number in front of x squared, 2. B is the number 4, the middle one, and c is the constant, minus 3. And then applying the formula, minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, and then plug in a number. B is 4 plus or minus b squared, 4 squared minus 4, a 2, c is minus 3, and then 2a, 2 times 2. Okay, just plug in the formula, and then simplify that, multiply that together, you get 40, and then 40 can be written as 4 times 10. Why? Because 4, the square root of 4 give me 2 outside. Okay, and you can see that on the top, on the numerator, I can pull out the factor of 2, so I have minus 2 here, because 2 times minus 2 give me minus 4, and then when I pull out 2, I don't have 2 here, so the square root of 10. Why did I do that? Because 2 and 4, I can divide the top and the bottom by 2, so I only have 2 here. And so the answer has two cases. One go with the plus, the other one go with the minus. So always 2 answers, 1 plus, 1 minus. And you can keep that in the rational form here. This question is asking to solve the inequality. That means we are not dealing with the equal sign here, but the bigger than sign, less than, bigger than or equal, and so on. And then they want you to have the answers in the interval notations. Now the first thing you can do is you make the distribution of 2, 2 times 3, 6x, 2 times 2, minus 4, 5 times x, 5 times 3, 15. Now subtract 5x on both sides, I get x, and then minus 4, and then 15. And then to solve for x, I add 4 on both sides, so x is bigger than 19. And then in order to write this in the interval notation, we know that the smallest value is the 19, the left lower bound. And then because we are looking for something bigger than 19, so we go from 19 up all the way to infinity to the right. And that is the interval notation. The next questions, we are using this graph to answer the following questions. How many ice cream sells when the temperature was 110 degrees? So this graph describes the ice cream sales by the money based on the temperature. Okay, so we are looking at the point of 110, F. This is 100, 120, so 110 is in the middle. So 110 is here. If you go all the way up, you should hit this point, and this point is 1,400. That is the sales when we are in the location of 110 degrees. Next questions. They ask us to find the equation for the line connecting the point. We know that we are given 2 points, so I can label x1, y1, x2, y2. And then we can use something called the slope point-intercept form to find the equation. And before that, you need to find the slope. The slope is given y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1 from here. Right? Plug in the numbers and getting 10 for the slope. And then the point slope formula, point slope formula equation is given at y minus y1 equal mx minus x1. We know that we had the value for y1 and x1 right here, and the m is the slope. We just found that, and then you plug in that. We make the distribution 10 times x, 10x, 10 times 70, 700. And then to solve for y, because we are looking for the equation of y, so I add 1,000 on both sides, right? 1,000 on both sides, and I get that. Okay, and then the last part, they ask you to use a light to approximate the number of ice cream sales when the temperature is 130 degrees. Remember, go back to the graph of the last page. The x-axis is your temperature. The y-axis is the money, right? Which is the sales. And now we know that we are looking to find the money, which is the y value, when the temperature, which is the x value, is 130. So we plug in 130 for x here. We find the sales to be 1,600. Next question, this is about the probabilities. It's similar to your exam 2, 3. Okay, so we have a class of quadratic algebra, and these are the students in the class with the age of 18, 19, 20, and 21 plus the number of students for men and women. Okay, so we add all the men, 16 men, all the women, 21 women. The total is 37 students in that class. Now the question is, what is the probability that a student selected at random from this class that is a male? We know that the total is 37. So you want male, which is 16 out of 37. This is the chance of getting a male if you randomly select a student. And then the next one is when you are looking for a 19 years old student, right? And don't forget that 19 years old students, it could be man or woman. So we add the man 3 and the woman that is 2. So together, out of 37, which is the total number of the students in that class, and the chance of getting any 19 years old is 5 over 37. The next one, 20 years or older. Okay, 20 years or older, that means we focus on 20 and 21 plus. So we add 3, 6, 7, and 7 together. The last two rows, right? The last two rows. Add them all up together again out of 37, which is the total number of the students in that class. So 23 over 37. Under 20 years of age, this is the again similar problem. Under 20, so we focus on the first two rows. So now I add them, the first two rows, 3, 3, 6, and 2. 3, 3 for men, 6 and 2 are from women, and then out 37. Okay, next question. To produce this textbook, suppose that the publisher spent $125,000 for the typesetting and $6.50 per book for printing and binding. The total cost to produce and print any n numbers of the books can be written as C of n. This is the cost, right? C stands for the cost. The cost for producing any number of n books is equal to 125,000 plus 6.5n. Now, question A, suppose that the number of the books printed, and in the first printing is 10,000. What is the cost, right? So we have 10,000 books, and now we are looking to find what is the cost to make these 10,000 books. Okay, so this is 10,000 books, which is the number of n. So 10,000 go to the n. Anywhere you see n, you plug in 10,000, and that should be $190,000 to make 10,000 books. And then the next question, suppose that the publisher has this much of money, right? How many books that publisher can print? So he has this amount of money. How many books that he can print out with the given amount of money? So we know that the C of n now is the money, the cost he has, right? And we are looking for the number of the books or the number of n. So we plug into 68,000 for the cost. We are solving for n. So basically solving the equation for n. So subtracting 125k on both sides, and then divide both sides by 6.5 to solve for n, and this should give me 22,000. So with this amount of money to 68,000, he can be able to print out 22,000 books. Number 5, if 300 is the deposit in an account that earns 9% annual interest compounded twice a year, how much money will be in the account after 6 years? So this problem, we know that we are dealing with the annual interest compounding. So we have to use this formula. A is the amount after t years equal P is the amount that you make the deposit in the beginning. 1 plus R over N and T. R is the interest rate, and then N is the number of the time that you make the compounding for each year. We know that you make the deposit with 300, so P is 300. R is the rate, 9%. In decimal form, that should be 0.09, sorry, 9%. We are compounding twice a year, so N equal 2. So we plug in everything, right? Plug in everything, P, R, N, and we are looking for the amount of money in 6 years. So the T should be 6. So anywhere you see T, that's become 6. And then just make the calculations here. It should be 508.76. Okay. The next question: how long will it take for 500 to become 2,500? If 500 is deposited in an account that earns 6% annual interest compounding twice a year, the same thing. This is what you make the deposit. But this question asking you a little bit different from the last one. We want that amount, AT, which is 2,500 at the end. We don't know the timing. That's why they ask you for how long, right? So you are solving for T in this case. Now to solve for T, this is the exponential equation. The first thing is you divide both sides by 500, right? And then the best way to solve any exponential equation, we take the ln on both sides. Why? Because when you take ln, you can bring down the exponent down here. And then to solve for 2t, I take ln phi, divide both sides by ln of 1 plus that, or 2, right? Divide by 2 as well to isolate the t. So divide both sides by 2, ln 1 plus 0.06 over 2 to solve for t. And if you plug in this to the calculator, you should end up with 27.2 years. Next question. We are given function f and g and h. We are asked to find f of 0 plus g of minus 3. So f of 0, that means the value of function f when your x becomes 0. So let's find f of 0. F function is this one. F of 0, anywhere you see x, now becomes 0. So minus 5. And then g of minus 3, anywhere you see x, that's become minus 3 in the function. So minus 3 go to the x, and then minus 5 here, minus 11. And then now you just take the two values, we add them together, and you get minus 16. The next question, this is the composite function. The open circle means composite function. So f is the outside function, h is the inside function. So that becomes f of h of 1. So we need to figure out what is h of 1. So h of 1, go back to the h function. Anywhere you see x, now become 1. So 1 go here, 1 square, 1 times 5, and plus 6. So h of 1 is 2. So we take this value, we plug in for h of 1 here. Now let's go back to the function f of 2. So anywhere you see x in the f function, now become 2. 2 minus 5 minus 3. This question 8, we are given the two sets A and B. Now you are looking to find A, the upside down U notation B. This is the intersection between A and B. That is the numbers that are in common to both the set A and B. We see that between A and B, number 2 and 3 appears in both the set B and A. So A, 2 and 3 are the numbers that are in the intersection between A and B. This is the union between A and B. That means this should contain all the numbers inside the set A and B. So we know that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, because we take all the numbers. Now we already have 2, 3, so I don't have to repeat it. But 4, 5, they're not here, so I put it here. That means the union, that means everything here should be in set A and B. Now this is the set where x belong to B. So this number belong to set B, and this number cannot be number 2. So we know that this x belong to set B. So we are looking for set B. But we know that that cannot be a number 2. So ignore number 2, exclude number 2. That should be 3, 4, and 5. And then draw the Venn diagram. Simple, right? So we know that 2 and 3 are in the middle between A and B. Right? This stands for A. This stands for B. 2 and 3 are in the middle because here we know that set A has 1, 2, 3, right? Which is here 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 3, 4, 5 is for B. So we know B here has 2, 3, 4, 5. Next question. The formula for converting measurements in Celsius to Fahrenheit is given at this one, where x is the degree in Celsius. What is the Fahrenheit degree when the Celsius is 39? Celsius means C. Sorry, for Celsius is x. So when x is 39, 1.8, anyway you see x, now become 39. So multiply that together, your f should be 102.2. And then they ask you next question. Approximately how much Celsius degree? That means you are looking for the Celsius, which is you are looking for the x, because x is Celsius. When there is a 105 F, okay, so your F now become 105, and you are solving for x. Now it's easy. Subtract 32 on both sides, and then divide by 1.8 on both sides. which give you the Celsius, which is in C. Okay, question 10. A class has 10 students. In how many ways can the teacher choose 5 of them? Okay, so we have 10. We choose out 5 of them in any order. The order doesn't matter. So we use the combination C. So 10 factorial, 10 subtract 5 factorial, 5 factorial. 10 factorial, 10 times 9 times 7 times 8. Sorry, 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial. 5 and 5 at the bottom, they cancel out. So you have 252. Choose 6 students and line them up in the first row. This is the permutation because the order doesn't matter, right? So P 10 pick 6. So 10 factorial, 10 subtract 6 factorial. And then 10 factorial, 10 subtract 6 factorial is 4 factorial. And then you just simplify that. 10 factorial is 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. I keep the 4 factorial because I cancel with the bottom 4 factorial. And just multiply them out. You should get this much number of students. Okay, number 11. We have a small college has 6,000 students, all from a small town. 32% of the students are taking history, and 38% of students are taking English. How many students are taking English? So we know that the total is 6,000 students. Only 38 of them percent are taking English, so we take the 30% of 6,000. 38% is 0.38 multiplied by 6,000. So this is the number of the students that are taking the English. And then the college has 3,500 male students. 20% of the females in the town are the students at the college. So how many females in the town? Okay. So we know that the college has a total of 6,000 students. But 3,500 are male. So female should be 6,000 subtract 3,500. So only 2,500 are the female in the school. We know that 20% of the female in the town are the student at the college. So how many female are in the town? So we let X to be the number of the female in the town. And we know that 20% of the female in the town, so 20%, 0.20 of the X, because X is the number of female in the town. So 20% of the female in the town, 0.20 of X, is equal to the number of the student of female in the college, which is 2,500. And then you are solving for X, dividing both sides by 0.20. You get this amount of females in the town. Okay, 12,500 female in the town, and then 20% of them are attending the college, which is 2,500 females are in this college of 6,000 people total. Next question for this one. The number of the students at the college is 22% more than the number of retired workers in the town. How many retired workers in the town? So we know that 20% more than the number of the retired workers in the town is equal to the number of the students. So 22%, which is 0.22, and the number of the students in this college is 6,000. So take 22% of that 6,000, which is 1320. So we know that the retired worker in the town is 22% less than what the college has. So the college has 6,000 people. So we subtract from 22% of that, we get this amount of the the people that are retired. Right, this is the 22% of the current population of the college. And then we know that a retired worker 22% less than what the college is having. So we take the college population, subtract 22% of that value to get to 4,680 retired workers in the town. The last question, question 12. We have the given data, the numbers. Find the mean. The mean is the same thing as finding the direct values. So we add all them together. Add all them together. There are 9 numbers, so we divide by 9, which is 20 is the mean. The medians, before we can find the medians, we must rewrite the numbers from smaller to larger. So 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 20, 25, 45, 50. Now median is the middle value. Make sure you write them in the order from smaller to larger. And then now to find the median, which is the middle value of the data. So we go from the right, 4, 50, 50 and 4. Go inside 1, 6, 45. Go inside 1, 25 and 8. Go inside 1, 20 and 10. And then they all come together in the middle, number 12. So that is the middle value, 12. You can see that 12, above that we have 4 number. Below that we have 4 number. So that is the middle value, 12. Okay, the quartiles. Now we have the this is the medians we just found, right? We just found medians. 4 number above that is the upper half. 4 number below that is lower half. Now to find the quartiles, we have the first quartile and the third quartile, Q1 and Q3. Q1 is the medians of the lower half, and Q3 quartile is the median of the upper half. So 4, 6, 8, 10 lower half. How do I find the medians? Again, I go from 4, 10, come inside to get 6 and 8, because we don't have a single middle value. We add them up together, divide by 2. 6 plus 8 divided by 2. The median of the lower half is Q1. The median of the upper half is Q3. Again, 50, 20. Go inside. I don't hit the middle value of one data, 1 point. So I add them up, 25, 45, divide by half to get 35. So median of the upper half is Q3 quartile. Median of the lower half is first quartile, Q1. And then the last question, 13. The volume of any sphere is given by the formula V equals 4 over 3 pi r squared. 3 r to the third power. Find the volume when r is 0.5. So anywhere you see r, now becomes 0.5 to the third power. Pi is 3.14. 3.14. So you can find this one inside using the calculator. So 4 over 3, right, multiplied by pi, and I can use the pi, which is this one right here, pi. So I use a second to get to pi, right, multiply by pi, or you can put 3.14 multiply by 0.5 and then to the power of 3 equal. So I round it to the 3 decimal places, 0.5 to 3, but after the 3 number 5, so you add 1 to 3, which is 0.4. Okay, the last question for this part here. Find R when your V is equal to 2. So this way we do the other way around. We know that this equation V now is 2. We are looking for R. So to solve for R, I know that I have to multiply by 3 on both sides to get rid of the value of 3 at the bottom. So I multiply 3 here, 3 here, 3 and 3 they cancel out. 3 times 2 is 6. So I have 6 equal 4 pi R3. I'm solving for R, so I divide both sides by 4 pi. So 6 divided by 4 pi. 6 and 4, they both divide by 2. So simplify that, 6 divided by 2 give me 3, 4 divided by 2 give me 2. Now this is R to the third power. So to find R, I have to take the radical of the index 3, or the cube root of 3, because this is the cube root, not square root. So I have to take the cube root of 3 of the whole right hand side term here to solve for R. And you can leave your answer as the radical form. Okay, so that's the end of this final exam practice questions. And for the other questions, there's 2 more questions on your exam practice about section 7.2, and I already have the video for 7.2, the problems. So you should go back to the other videos and watch that for the explanation. Okay, thanks for watching.